Division 2. I'm in Seth. I'm in Nyckelwald right now, right behind me. Let's kick things off. Somerset versus Hollidaysburg area. Hollidaysburg area was led by Jay here, as you can see, absorbing a lot of damage, doing a lot of CC here, pushing into the back line of Somerset. He was able to take about almost 15,000 damage, dealt about 14,500 damage, leading them. But V Snipes, one of the DPS players to watch here for Hollidaysburg, at 16,000 damage, 40 kills, 4 deaths. Hollidaysburg up 2-0 over Somerset. Next matchup was between West Branch and Forest Hills Rangers. West Branch making a statement here earlier on in week 1, led by Baldiff. He was able to wipe them out on the front end. He was playing tank. Baldiff had 27 kills, 10 deaths, 22,000 damage done as a tank. But here's the big number here, ladies and gentlemen. 29,000 damage taken for his team, leading them across that round there. But don't tell Game Slays, as he was on the DPS there. 18 kills, 10 deaths, 19,000 damage done. Right here is going to be able to show you what they were able to do here on this team fight here against Forest Hills. See, following this tank right into battle, able to wipe out one and finish out the other right here of the May. West Branch was able to take the 2-1 victory over Forest Hills. Our next matchup was between Richland area and Shade. We have spots from Shade getting a little sticky with the Hanzo. Snipes able to take out the healer of Richland. Shade was able to go on 2-0 over Richland. Our next matchup was Division 2, Forest Hills versus Division 2 of Ferndale. We had giving you all right now here for Forest Hills, able to go in there and take the damage and execute out, but Widow was trying to keep Ferndale into it all game long, able to take out the backline. He's not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to go after Ray of the tank of Forest Hills, but Ferndale, unfortunately, wasn't able to pull off the victory. Forest Hills led 2-0 in the series. Next matchup was between Moshannon Valley and Gateway. Logan, letting you know right off the bat, he's a Junkrat main. Able to get that quad kill with the Riptire, his ultimate ability. 33 kills, 17,000 damage for Logan. So you can see another one here. Here he comes with the Riptire again, able to get another 2 there of Moshannon Valley. Gateway was able to take the 2-1 victory over Moshannon Valley. Our next Division 2 matchup was between West Branch and Shade. Shade had Knight here, damage, 59 kills, 28 deaths, 40,000 damage done for Shade. He's going to show you exactly why right there with the Junkrat. Does a lot of damage up close. And he's going to do it with the old Riptire copy, a little play out of Logan from the last highlight. There it is. He led them to a 2-1 victory over West Branch. In our next final matchup was between Johnstown and Richland area. Jake the Snake snaking right to the back line. Able to take much damage here, fight off the soldier who was pocketed by the Mercy healing. That's why he's not dying right away, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, our stats messed up, but Greater Johnstown to go over 2-0. And let's check out Week 2 schedule. Division 1, we had Wimber, Ferndale, Somerset, West Branch, Everett, and Greater Johnstown. This is for week number 2. Alive right now. Division 2, we had Richland, Shade, Ferndale, Salisbury, Outlet, Forest Hills, and Moshannon Valley, Gateway, and West Branch. That is it for your Week 2 recap. We'll see you guys next week. And there might be another face on the camera. I'm done. I'm Seth.
That'd be fantastic.
Oh, nice. Okay. So this is Winbird 93-0 on first round. Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh. Okay, so we're live. So perfect. Okay. So it looks like Winbird is starting things out, and they're gonna take map round number 1 here, Ethan.
Yeah, they're gonna take the first round. It's Joker, we're only on round 2 of the first map. So let's just say welcome everyone to the esport company here on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This series that we've got for you guys at the moment is one that I've been really excited for, Joker. This is Winber Area Ramblers versus Ferndale Esports, and I think Ferndale is one of the ones that we haven't gotten to see too much of, and so I was particularly excited for this matchup. But we haven't seen much already, even if you were able to spectate this game, Joker. That was a 100% to nothing on the side, on the advantage of Winber. So here heading into Sanctuary, I wonder what things are going to change here from map 1.
Well, you've got to expect that from Winber right now. They're obviously coming off that second place finish from the fall of 2022. They're looking to get that championship in the spring. Is going to start things off with a pick, but it's going to be turned around on its head immediately. The res is going to be there, and the rest of Winber are able to come through as Mr. Gary. I've missed this Hanzo gameplay.
Miss Garrett.
As they're coming in with the picks for Winber.
Yeah, really good stuff. It's no surprise to see Garrett in the starting lineup for Winber. It's no surprise to see Garrett popping off, as we've always expected from the Winber area Ramblers. And invariably, that's a threat that Ferndale had to have been aware of coming into this as well. They know that Garrett is still on this roster. They know that Garrett's a threat, and so he's going to end up being a priority target for these Ferndale players. One of whom, the Junkrat, is actually trying to find an off angle and secure a pick here.
Yeah, I saw that Junkrat looking for the pick in the off angle. Not going to find anything yet, but they still got this movement to try to get there. The Widowmaker in the face, but it's not going to matter. Mr. Gary takes them out early on in this fight. Now, it looks like Ferndale are trying to rotate, try to get to this point, but it's not really working out for them at the moment as another nice shot comes through from Garrett there on the Hanzo, as this should wrap things up, especially if they can find this pick onto the Mercy. And well, there they do, as Andos taking that pick down, but Mr. Gary still finding picks in this fight for Winber. Oh my goodness.
Had to shake off the jitters there. You can see it's good to reset your aim if you're not hitting the shots there, and I think that that's what we see Garrett doing. They're like, I can hit a shot, which is one of my favorite calls to make. So a little bit of a lull here, an opportunity for Ferndale to reset, see what ultimates they want to see about coming into the next fight. Joker, real quick clarification: we won't be able to see anything pretty much besides Garrett's perspective here, at least for the remainder of this round. But heading into the next game, we'll be able to see all of the ults and everything for Ferndale, and have a better idea of how they're going to approach these fights. At least for now, Joker. For Busan, this one is all Winber.
Yeah, I mean, what more could you want? Yeah, I mean, hey, we stuck on Mr. Gary all day. There's pretty much always going to be some action to be catching from their perspective. But yeah, this is going to be a quick wrap-up. 2-0 in the favor of Winber going into the second map of...
Going into the third map, actually. And I'm actually not sure if they're going to play this one out. This reminds me of like old Overwatch back in like I think it was not until 2017 that we saw Control Point go from a best of 5 first to 3 to a best of 3 first to 2. So this kind of reminds me of those days when Control Point, you were guaranteed to play at least all 3 maps. And that's a little bit of what we're seeing here. But this is Winber's win here for this map.
It just reminds me of my old school competitive days. We scrim all 3 maps. We scrim all 3 points.
Yep.
But this is not a scrim. This is indeed a match here, Ethan, as they're going to be able to take this first map, and I believe something happened, at least. Maybe it's not on our end, or... There we go.
Yeah, we'll be heading, I think, back to lobby to see about setting up for the next map. So that was a nice. I'm gonna back up here. My face is big. That was a nice little showcase, actually, from Winber. It's a nice demonstration. Actually, us not being able to watch that first map in its entirety, just to show that Winber serious, kind of like what you were alluding to there, Joker, during Sanctuary. They want that win, and how better to establish yourself as a candidate for that championship title than by absolutely popping off as early in the season as possible. And I think that's the approach that Winber has likely taken here.
Yeah, and you can't drop any of these first series, especially against these new bloods to the TEC High School League's Overwatch division. Especially if you're coming off that second place finish when you're destined for more. And that's what they're showing right now. They're not pulling any punches. They're not getting them acclimated. This is welcome to the Lion's Den for Ferndale.
And there's one line in particular you got to be really aware of, and that is Mr. Gary. But the fact is that all of Winber is extremely functional, not only as individuals, but also as teams. Heading into the next map type, things are going to get particularly interesting as well. You thought, Joker, one might have thought that this series was already in favor of Winber. It's about to be even more so. Now, we briefly saw Widowmaker from the side of Ferndale there on Busan's Sanctuary. Might have gotten the opportunity to see it on downtown, but I'm hoping that Ferndale pulls out the Widowmaker here, because Havana is the next map we're heading to, and that's a great place for Widows, Hanzos, Ash, your long-range hit scan, and snipers. It's a definitively fantastic map for those heroes.
I think this is the first time I've actually seen Havana in Overwatch 2. I think since it's been out of circulation most of the it was out of circulation, I believe, last season for the TEC. Then a lot of tournaments and whatnot weren't playing Havana at all. I'm excited to see how Havana plays on Overwatch 2 here.
Surprisingly, it's actually not too different from Overwatch 1. You're still looking at slow fights on that first point, looking for the pick-off potential. The close hold strategy, where you just walk right up to the spawn doors if you're defending on that first objective, is still very popular and very viable, albeit a little bit more difficult to pull off with the absence of one of your tanks. Those snipers that I mentioned earlier have become a lot more dangerous since you don't have that second tank, and because that barriers have actually become extremely important on maps like Havana. So, really, I wasn't going to be surprised anyways, because the TEC high school teams, they really like that Reinhardt, those main tanks that offer a lot of structure to a composition and its formation. But here on Havana, I mean, you really, even at in some situations at the highest levels of play, you need to have the Sig, the Ramatra, the Reinhardt, anyone who can place a barrier and block those sniper line of sights. Just because, especially for this first point and for that last point here in Havana, it's a firing range, that's for sure. Starting here on the defense, I like the approach that Winber is taking. They've got some pretty solid healing. They've got the Ramatra on the front lines, who's a lot of fun, very brawly, and is probably going to fare pretty well against Maddox Winston. But how to? Ooh, oh, those are some good shots.
Yeah, it definitely is. They're going to take it back. They're going to get that res out, but the first pick was always crucial, and we know Layla can now land those headshots with this Widowmaker as they're looking around, looking for something here early on from both of these squads. As we see, Katsume tried to go for that flank. Mr. Gary shuts it down with an arrow to the head, getting another pick as well onto Gaming Bumble, and that should wrap up this fight, unless someone goes down here in this little corridor.
It's going to be really hard for the attackers here to secure picks. They're already down 2. I hit Orisa. Just got an accidental concussion mine kill on Matic. Yeah, I'm not gonna just let that go under the radar there. And for now, Winberg gets to hold in this really good position. I like playing on the inside of that building. There's a lot of natural cover, and as well with Mr. Gary's Sonic arrows, you're going to be able to reveal enemies like you have here. Katsumi goes down.
As they're gonna come in here, Matic is gonna start things off. They've gotten Mr. Gary out of this fight, and that's a huge pick. Like we said, that's priority number 1 for Ferndale, and now they're gonna be able to go in here with a nice charge from Matic. That's gonna open things up immensely now for Ferndale, as they're gonna be able to get around this corner, but they're getting Mr. Gary back from spawn here, as well as GG Man. They're gonna be coming in as well. Can they find more picks on to the rest of Winber before these respawns come back? It seems to be the case, but Maddox all alone, and they're gonna get forced away and forced out. No, they're still alive. Finally gonna go down in the end, and that's not what you wanted, as the Annihilation Randos is there on the point. That's going to wrap things up, finding 3.
The time came and passed for Ferndale to suffer as Winber has, or I suppose as Anjus has on the tank role, becoming a lonely role actually in Overwatch 2. But not so lonely when you got all of your team behind you. For Ferndale, Matic ended up losing the rest of their team, which definitely made it easier for Mr. Gary and I hit Orisa to just overwhelm them with damage. So this is a good opportunity for Ferndale to get a little reset. They just have to survive the dragons, and Layla won't be able to.
That's not good at all, and then Matic tries to go in for the charge there. You see Katsume wrapping around, looking for an off angle, but Gaming Bumble used their Transcendence there for some reason, as it's down to 1 minute and 5 on the clock for Ferndale.
It was likely, you know, just if I can keep my soldier alive, then they can build Visor, and then my soldier can wreak havoc. And it just didn't end up working out that way from Gaming Bumble. It's totally fine, because the Discord is more than enough for Ferndale to get a little bit of agency in this fight, but they're having to fight through so many ults here from Winber.
Ooh, that's a massive shatter coming in from Matic, though. That could be the game changer that Ferndale needs, and it seems to be working out. That extra damage coming in from Layla, who's on this Bastion now, is working to a T, but Mr. Gary's still alive, finding shots. Another one. The Dragon Strike on point. Can they find more? Katsume doesn't even know Mr. Gary's behind him, and they found another pick as the Annihilation has been popped from Andos, and that's gonna really wrap things up. 12 seconds to go.
12 seconds to go, and really more importantly, no ultimates on either side at this moment. Now, Layla was going to be coming up on that artillery configuration. They're going to have to wait until they respawn to do so, but the overtime wick is going, and holy moly, Mr. Gary's landing some really game-winning shots right there. Backed up by the rest of Winber, they're going to be able to hold this first objective. A distance of only 65.51 meters is a distance that is not too difficult to travel. So here for the defense, Ferndale, you know, definitely on the back foot, but have the advantage of a clear, definitive win condition. We prevent 65.50 meters of objective progress, and we get to go to that elusive map 3. Which this week is Colosseo. Not my personal favorite, but I'll still want to see it. So Ferndale, you guys can bring this back, achieve some agency in this series. But, you know, Joker, you and I have kind of talked about it. Step 1, as part of that, is to get Mr. Gary out of the fight. If you can do that, then the fight becomes a lot more manageable for your DPS, for your supports, and especially for your tank, because that's one of 2 pretty significant damage sources that are being eliminated from Winber. Now, I hit Orisa, you know, deal with that when you have the opportunity to, but like you and I have mentioned, Mr. Gary and now Anjus, now that they're on the Doomfist, that's going to be a very terrifying duo to go up against Joker.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'd hate to see you if Paraiso was in the map pool this week.
I hate that map.
If that's what you're saying about Colosseo, but I know. That's why I brought it up. I know you hate the map. That's why I brought it up.
I hate that map so much.
But
We don't have to deal with hybrid.
we don't have to deal with hybrid right now, at least, as Winber's already looking to start things off as I Hate Orisa finds the shot onto Layla.
Oh, man.
Mr. Gary following up as well as Winber are pushing the objective, getting in the face of Ferndale, taking no prisoners right now as Winber gonna wrap this up as they're trying to force away, but they're still not able to find any picks. As Katsume's now out of this fight, Honda's looking for I'm the Mad Lad, and that's really all but over. Gaming Bumble, the only one really left with Mac on the point as it's pretty much all but over here, Ethan.
It's looking that way. There's a possibility that Ferndale is able to, with maybe one or two members, touch at the last second, but you gotta watch out for this Widow sightlines. Layla unfortunately goes down, had the shot lined up, but didn't have the time to pull the trigger. And watch out, there's a Torbjorn on the objective, but I Hate Orisa has got Ethereal covered there. Just have to dispatch the turret, and then Winber should take Havana. Just a little more resistance to fight through, possibly.
Yeah, no, they're not going to be able to get there in the touch, and Winber takes map number 2 and wins the series in a quick 2-0 fashion.
Very nice performance from Winber. And, you know, Joker, this is that moment that, you know, we're a little bit sad we weren't able to see that most of that first map, right? Because I really was excited to see Ferndale's debut here on air, and so definitely, you know, would have wanted a little bit of a closer series, and I'm sure Ferndale is in the same boat. The cool thing from this series, though, is that there's a lot to take from this. You know, there's the question of, you know, how much of a priority is Mr. Gary? How do we get him out of the fight? You know, is it getting through through Anjus that we have to do first, and then we can get Garrett out of the fight? Is it the supports that have to be focused? You know, so there's a lot of you know, Overwatch principles that you could get out of this, but then also a lot of just situational strategies. You know, you're going up against Winber, previously the number 2 seed in TEC high school Overwatch Division 1, right? So, you know, to have a chance to fight Winber as early as week 2 so that you can start adapting strategies designed to directly counter theirs, that's awesome. Ferndale might have lost today, but they've gotten quite a few victories, small ones, albeit, but quite a few that they'll be able to use as the series progresses, or season progresses.
Definitely. I'm excited to see how their season progresses, but for now, we're going to head to a short little break here, Ethan, as we're going to head to the break, obviously, but we're going to be back with some more Overwatch action right after it. Welcome back, everyone. It is time for our second series of the afternoon as we're heading to another nice series of Overwatch, and I'm excited because this is one of my favorite up-and-coming teams, my new teams coming into this. West Branch versus Somerset, and that has that powerhouse trio even of Ball Diff, the game Slays, and DPS Diff on that West Branch squad.
Yeah, we saw a really good performance from West Branch last week. We're looking forward to another good one this week, but I'm really excited to see the Somerset area Golden Eagles as well, and see what kinds of work during the offseason they put in. So we do have a couple of players to watch as well here representing West Branch. Got to watch Ball Diff, like you mentioned, Joker. We're pretty excited to see them. You know, 13.5 elims, average per 10, 11k damage dealt. Those are not numbers to scoff at, especially here on the tank roll. So you can expect to see Ball Diff really pump out those numbers like that today.
I was okay. Yeah, as and everything's messed up. I was behind. My face had been consumed by the West Branch area
dancing around
logo.
Back there.
But here's our player to watch from Somerset here. Your boy Luke on the damage roll. 6,347 damage dealt, 6 elims. This was a very quick game they played last week because, well, they, I believe, went against Hollidaysburg last week. So, I mean, you're going to go against a very difficult team. So, obviously, it's going to be a quick game. But still doing a lot of work for the side of Somerset there. Look for him to show up for this squad if they want to have any chance of taking West Branch down here.
And you guys saw it as well, but there's a couple of locations to take down West Branch here for Somerset. The first of which is going to be Busan. It is going to be our starting control point map. And this is interesting to me, Joker. Is you know, we've got Busan, Havana, and Coliseo for our map pool this week. Busan being, at least until Season 4 of Overwatch, the only map of these three that is not currently in the playable competitive map pool, which means you're also not going to find it in quick play on arcade games as well, unless you're selecting under the arcade modes, the control point maps. What this means for these teams is that playing on Busan is going to be a little bit, for those teams who haven't scrimmed this map, is going to be a little bit of a new experience. So there might be a great opportunity here for Somerset to kind of sweep under the strategies of oh my lord, I'm absolutely losing my mind, of West Branch, being that West Branch likely hasn't gotten the opportunity to play on this map competitively, at least in recent weeks. So I'm particularly interested to see Busan, since this will be a relatively unpracticed map for both of these teams. And already, holy moly, Joker, the first fight has broken out.
Well, I do know they were fixing things, especially the cow physics on top of the roof.
Yep.
Now that
I've seen them. I've seen the internet videos.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the fight at the moment, because DPS Diff is in the back line, finding 3 picks already, and Ball Diff getting in on that kill feed, not on Ball, on Winston to start off with.
I'll tell you, you know, there's one thing to be more afraid of in Overwatch than a player who is just the best in the lobby, and that's going to be 2 players who are not only good teammates, but likely good friends as well. And that's possibly the dynamic that you're looking at when you see Ball Diff and DPS Diff engaging. Names that match up, you know, obviously these two play a lot of Overwatch, and so Somerset is on the lookout for one or the other, because where one or the other is, the other one is likely to be.
Yeah, look at that perfect dive in together. They saw DPS Diff had to use their reflect, but then they went in with their own charge, with their bubble, and they continue to just dominate. And while they're being focused on West, while they're focused on those two, the game Slays is on high with this Widowmaker, finding 2 picks already for West Branch to continue to hold on to this point.
The game Slays is coming up on their ultimate as well. Same with DPS Diff. The blade is drawn from its sheath and finds Andrea and then Swiss without the supports here for Somerset. The rest of them are all set to cave at the choke of Busan. And the battlefield will go quiet, at least for now. So that's one ultimate out from West Branch. Meanwhile, Somerset with a handful of swaps and really fights that haven't resolved or been long enough for them to generate ult are definitely looking for a way to break through this choke. It's going to be difficult, though, because you see Baldiff. They're going to be ready with the Primal to disrupt any effort to attack this point from Somerset.
Baldiff's just vibing next to the cow, but hey, he might not even need that Primal Rage as the game slays a DPS Diff have already found 2. They're just going to follow it up with that Tesla cannon, finding some more damage done for West Branches. It's already up to 95%. I don't even think anyone's going to be able to touch it, even if they can. Baldiff is going to be in their spawn with that Primal Rage, stopping any advancement as West Branch take round number 1.
Really good stuff from them as well. It was a clean execution on that dive composition. Really great stuff from Baldiff and DPS Diff to go in together and also get out together. Disengagement is a very important part of how to play team fights in Overwatch. But then as well, you have the Game Slays, Breadcat, and Firelord just ready to follow up on either those disengages or those disengages as well. There have been some good responses from Somerset as well. You saw a couple of swaps emerge from them as the round progressed, and now they found themselves on this happy little brawl composition. It's really more of a responsive comp. It's a strategy that says, you know, West Branch, when they dive on us, we can punish them. Savo's playing the buffed Roadhog, who himself is a little bit of a sleeper pick. You can put turrets on the objective from Lemon Raven Symmetra, and you got a whole lot of damage to mitigate from Ocean.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the Symmetra turrets, but you can't really do anything when your head has been taken off by the Game Slays, as it's again Ocean going down as this Widowmaker pick from the Game Slays has just been incredible, as Firelord's going in for the res in the face of Savo as West Branch get this first capture.
It was a really nice turnaround for them. There was an opportunity for Somerset to bounce back from that, but Game Slays just playing really safe, really far back, and finding that opening pick onto Lemon was really influential. Now you've got Ocean mirroring the Genji, and Lemon's going to be on the Echo. So these are going to be the two who are looking to dive with each other for Somerset. But at least for now, Ocean's attention is going to be diverted to Somerset's backline, where a whole fight is taking place.
Well, I mean, here goes yet again the Game Slays in the back. Maybe we should have talked about this guy on the Widowmaker, just continuing to dominate. DPS Diff getting not outmatched, finding 3 of their own for West Branch as there comes the infra sites up to now. Well, find out where everyone is. This is up to 43%.
Yeah, so you're looking at a potentially not really a losable situation yet for Somerset, but a situation that is becoming more and more difficult to win for sure. Baldiff is making themselves well, really accessible to damage from Somerset, but they're, you know, making themselves a serious obstacle to get through. And then even once you burn through the HP from Baldiff, you've got so many other lethal forces to contend with. At least for now, Firelord has been dispatched.
I mean, Firelord's been dispatched, but the Game Slays finds 3 with the help of that Mercy pocket for a little bit. And then, I mean, it's going to wrap things up and continue to hold on. It's 81% and counting for West Branch.
Coming up on last fight here as well, a whole slew of ultimates from West Branch and a couple from Somerset that they can use. A really nice opening pick there from Ocean as well. The Game Slays dispatch means that there's a serious threat that's been dealt with. Coalescence committed there onto DPS Diff, who will end up going down in the Amplification Matrix, although applied, did end up going down.
No.
Needless to say, Joker,
a little
unlucky. Somerset was unable to touch the objective.
I think that was just a case of not looking at the percentage there, as they unfortunately got to they unfortunately got caught up in the moment and had to did not touch in the end there, Ethan.
Let's get started.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like, you know, you want to clean up the fight, right? You want to make sure that any threats that need to be eliminated are dead and gone, right? But then you also need to be able to play and capture and control the objective. It's an age-old question in Overwatch of, you know, when and how to play the point, because really all I want to do is run around and shoot stuff. And so that's what we'll honestly likely use this third round for, is to continue running around and shooting stuff here. Although West Branch have taken the map, Somerset has an opportunity to put up one final fight here on Busan.
Yeah, Savo tried to find a pick, but the Bread Cat saved their life with a nice immortality field. It was very clean, but you know, it's also clean DPS Diff's dash throughs, finding 3 with the dashes as West Branch take that first fight. As I don't know if they're gonna even capture the point, because I mean, why even bother?
Well, I mean, outside of the fact that it's the way to win the game mode. Nice reflex there. Managed to get both of the fire strikes back on the Savo there. Baldiff goes for the slam as well. And West Branch still haven't captured the objective. So, Joker, we are looking at a possibility that this map actually just goes on truly forever.
This is the map that never ends. It goes on and on. My friend, we started playing. We didn't even know what it was.
Break the cycle.
No, Ocean, don't you do it.
Ocean can do it. Ocean can do it.
No, they're not going to do it.
Drop from the game slays. DPS Diff on them.
And I think they're
And then now we finally get to capture the objective. All right, there we go, West Branch. They figured it out. They at one point, the big glowing indicator that you have to capture the point, you know, it's too hard to ignore there. And another fight cleaned up here by West Branch as well, albeit at the cost of the Dragon Blade there. But it's good to get that ultimate out for Somerset, meaning that in the next fight, they won't have to worry about the Blade. They'll just have to worry about any one of the other ultimates. At least right now, the only other one for West Branch is going to be this this Amplification Matrix, and it could be easily zoned out by Swiss's Coalescence.
Yeah, as the Coalescence does come out early here, they need to find something off the back of it, and Savo parts that charge and hasn't found anything, but that's a big slam coming in, both from West Branch there. They do go down in the end, but it's still looking good for West Branch to continue to hold on to it as Savo finds 2, but it's not enough in the end. It's up to 50%.
And that was an ult exchange as well, so you ended up seeing the Coalescence committed. Although I don't think that Lemon Raven was able to get much towards Riptire. Savo coming up on the Earth Shatter as well, probably in this next fight. So really for Somerset, they just need to get a good reset so that they can get a group up and then fight West Branch as 5. See if there's an opportunity to deploy that Shatter that's coming up from Savo.
Savo is on point, found the bread cat on the point, but the Dragon Blade has come out from DPS Diff to wrap things up. Yet again, the game Slay is finding 2. They have this TAC visor available. It's up to 85%, and Lemon Raven already found out.
Yeah, just trying to get in there for damage. It's ambitious, maybe a little bit overly so, but what other option do you have besides to run in, considering that they've got West Branch has the sound barrier and the tactical visor, both of which they commit. You've got Baldiff saying, no, you are not able to cross this area, as the map concludes for Busan, resulting in a 3-0 victory for West Branch.
Yeah, as we're going to take this play of the game first. Here it is, that Dragon Blade, the first Dragon Blade from DPS Diff on Busan. And, well, it's a lot of work done for that Genji player, finding 4 in that play.
Yeah, and, you know, playing that third map means that, you know, stats end up being able to be padded a little bit there for West Branch, so they're feeling pretty comfortable after this first map. Now, you know, does that continue? Only one way to find out. Heading into Havana for our next showdown, this is an opportunity for West Branch to continue demonstrating prowess over their roles in Overwatch, but perhaps on a different set of heroes. You and I talked at length, Joker, about the advantage on Havana in particular of the sniper heroes, and although it wouldn't wouldn't be I wouldn't complain personally about watching more of DPS Stiff's Genji or the Game Slay's Widow. I do want to see some new stuff from these teams. I want to see them flex their creative muscles a little bit. Maybe see the Sigma instead of the Wrecking Ball, Torbjorn instead of Soldier 76. You know, some of these fun heroes that we can watch. I'd like to see that. For Somerset, it's really just about finding the right response. Maybe not even to the heroes that are being run here from West Branch, but rather to the play styles and the strategies they're using to find wins in these team fights. And really, I think that it boils down to West Branch wants to play highly aggressive. So the question is, how do you prevent them from doing so?
That is the question, and I think it has to start with picking either it has to be picking one of those three: the DPS diff, ball diff, or the game slays. But then when you find that pick, you need to follow it up and get it into more, because we've seen they lose ball diff early on, then the game slays or DPS diff go on a tear and kill the rest of the squad. It's got to be a cohesive effort from the rest of Somerset here to find to get the results that they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Joker, you know, it's a cohesive effort from West Branch. You know that they're synergized. You know that they're operating dependently on each other, right? And so you're absolutely right. I want to share as well that, you know, part of cutting down the aggression from West Branch might actually mean letting ball diff or DPS diff roll in, and then moving up. Somerset moves up and sees if they can dispatch Breadcat or Firelord. Right? If you can sever the lifeline of support to these absolutely bonkers players, then they're not going to be able to play as freely or as effectively. Right? So they'll still be able to pop off, but they get a little less support. That gives Somerset an advantage, and maybe, you know, the 2 or 3v1 there. DPS diff hiding in the bushes as well, ends up getting found out there. Looks like someone has their settings to lowest so that they can see those player outlines when they're hiding.
They are hiding in the shadows. The shadows did not bode them well, but West Branch still gonna start off this fight with a pick onto Lemon Raven. The res is gonna be there, but it's going to be followed up immediately afterwards. Ocean's going to line up that shot, try to turn it back, but the res still ever true for West Branch as they're still looking to open things up. Oh my goodness, nice deflect kill indeed. No, I don't think they've realized that ball diff is up there. They finally figured out he's there. They can't do anything. He's just there, sitting there menacingly, Ethan, as there's just not able to find the picks that they need, as Ocean finds another one with this Widowmaker. But can they find more is the question, and it does not seem to be the case right now.
I actually got that reference. I actually got that one. Yeah, you know, points finally going to be able to get started moving here. What you're seeing here is kind of a variation of this close hold, but instead of just sitting here on the objective the whole time, nice shot there by Ocean. What you're doing is you're rolling in and out, on and off the point, just constantly stalling it, which arguably might be more frustrating and difficult to contend with. I like the Savo Junker Queen here, though, because it's a nice matchup against the Wrecking Ball to displace him while he's trying to displace you.
It is a really good play, but can they land their Jagged Blade is the real question of this disruption, or can they get, or at least get the blood tick, the drainage coming in from at least getting it through them. But it's not seeming to be the case right now, because West Branch are still holding on as the Dragon Blade has come out from DPS diff, just trapping Somerset and Spawn.
Yeah, and so, you know, you've got a minute 50 here that you can deal with. This is a fight that you can afford to lose. We get a swap from Savo onto the Ramatra, which I think is a good response here. Minefield in the entrance, though, that's going to make things a little bit difficult here for Somerset as far as getting out. They're down Swiss, and the game stays just let loose with the tactical visor.
Yeah, you're
saying they're still winning that.
The minefield was making it difficult. Well, they tried to get out. But then the game slays just said, I'm going to pop tag visor fight too as well. Now they're swapped over to the Bastion, trying to open things up even more, trying to find a pick here.
They might be able to. The game plays with this with the Soldier 76 and with Firelord tethered to him. It's just you're only looking at damage here. See?
Yeah, there's so much damage coming out. They do find a pick on it to DPS diff, but I think it's a little too late. It's down to 50 seconds on the board, and well, they're just trying to run and hide from the damage of the Gabe Slays right now. They are going to get them back. They're going to force them back for the time being. They still have to find a pick, though, is the real question. And Baldiff slamming around, just being a nuisance, still not going to be able to be found, and allows DPS Diff to get back and dive in and take away the space that West Branch is trying to make. And there's the Valkyrie coming out. That's going to be more healing, more damage coming out, as that's a minefield as well, but that might be enough for Somerset to win this out. Nope, no, never mind. The Game Slays pops that tactical visor and wrap things up for West Branch.
Yeah, team kill at only 3 seconds remaining. Somerset is going to have to figure out what they want to do or how they want to do a close hold here. You've only got 29 meters. That's effectively half the distance that we got to watch in our previous series. So, you know, hopefully the next one that we get to watch, Joker, it goes double the distance of the first series this afternoon. Because I want to see the Dom Robotico Distillery. I want to see the castle, the last bastion of defense of Havana, third point.
I really want to see the Widowmaker duels on third point.
Yeah, and I mean those are classic, but you know they also get pretty fun there on second point, where you've got the closed corridors, you've got some pretty cheeky high ground spots like on the canisters in the distillery, and so you know I agree the Widow duels on third are fun, but if we can get Widow duels on second point, man, those are pretty spectacular. Got to get pretty creative for those ones.
Yeah, I remember. This is right before COVID happened. The first was the 2020 season of Owl, the first game of the season, the NYXL homestand. I was there in the stands, and it was Logix versus, I believe, oh my goodness, what's his name? That was Odd Paris that played Hitscan. Who played Hitscan for Paris?
Your guess is as good as mine. All I know is Linkser.
No, it was... Oh my goodness!
I miss Linkser.
This is gonna annoy me, but he was a young blood. He was a young blood in the seed, and then Logix decided to just come out and sun him on the Widowmaker, and that's what I love about the Widowmaker on third point. But we're not talking about third point right now. We're talking about the Gabe Slays on first point, finding 2 picks already for West Branch.
Yeah, really. I don't even know where they got that shot from. Kind of industrious Widow positioning there. Although it's actually just in spawn, so maybe less industrious than I thought it was. But still able to get Swiss out, and Android is gone as well, which means this close hold is going to fall apart here for Somerset. You know, looking at limited options to see if they can touch. Your best one is going to be getting one of your remaining members on the point, but they're not going to be able to live. Lemon Raven ends up going down, and Joker, is there anyone left from Somerset to actually connect to this objective? Swiss is definitely going to make an effort.
Yeah, they're going to try to make an effort, but not going to get there in the end. The merry-go-round works for West Branch in the end, and are able to take this series in a quick 2-0 fashion.
Here you get the play game from the Game Slays as well, though I don't think that this is an individual as much as a team effort here. The Visor, in effect. This one's actually, this one was at the very end there. That's when there was only a couple of seconds remaining. So it's not the Nano Visor, but it was still damage boosted. You still had a lot of strings being pulled from the back lines and from inside the formation of West Branch. I want to do a quick shout out, Joker, to the supports from this afternoon. You know, really, you and I in the heat of the action only got to really talk about the tanks and the DPS, those matchups and sniper duels. But the fact is that both of the supports on both teams were really going above and beyond their calls as far as what they were responsible for in game. You saw some pretty devastating anti-nades cast there on Havana. Obviously, speed boost is incredibly valuable, and the Mercy Beam, whether it's the outrageous healing she can provide or the unreasonable damage amplification that she can also do, it was always there. And again, that's from both sides. So even Somerset on the back foot, there's still a lot of things that they did well today, and I don't want that to go unacknowledged.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. It's always hard to point them out unless they're in the kill feed for myself. But yeah, they were definitely doing their job and doing it above and beyond for the side of West Branch there. But that's not it. We do have a pretty long break for the moment. 10 minutes, only 10 minutes, perfect. So, but we're going to be going for that break. Don't go anywhere, but if you do, come back in about 10 minutes. You're not going to want to miss the conclusion of the TEC High School League Overwatch week number 2. welcome back. Well, we unfortunately don't get that third match of the evening as Gateway, I believe, forfeited again to Bishop Guilfoyle, but we've got the fourth one all ready for you now. We've got Everett versus Greater Johnstown. Another team coming in for the first time this season, and Everett coming against one of the namestays of the TEC high school series in the Greater Johnstown Warriors, as they're about to, or is it Warriors or Trojans? It's Trojans.
Trojans.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Warriors are Everett, which is the other team in the matchup that we have jumping into. Everett's one of those new schools for Overwatch Division 1, so I'm very excited to see what they have. I think that we haven't actually gotten to see them yet. I think there was a game last week they might have played. We didn't get to watch.
No.
So I'm very excited for what Everett has in store. But honestly, man, because Joker, you and I have tackled the finals for a couple of seasons now, and at the end of every finals, I'm always like, man, I'm gonna miss watching these kids so much. I hate to see some of them graduate as well, and depart from the high school program, go do big things off in some of these university programs. But here for Greater Johnstown, we're getting a return. All the faces, River Galaxy, Trojan 1 and 4, which are Cooper and Zeke respectively, Cherry Bloom, Game Genesis, Trojan 1, Cooper and Zeke. So I'm super to just see all of Greater Johnstown back in the fray.
Yeah, then on the side of Everett, these new faces, Blaze, Donut, UO, Outfoxed, Voltage, and Zeld, rounding out the squad of Everett here, as we're going to be loading in now for the game here, Ethan. And Zeld is going to start things off. Oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting that at all. Taking both supports out of the fray early on from Everett to start things off in their favor, forcing Johnstown back.
I mean, holy moly, what some opening picks there, and as well a closer for Zelds on top of that. Interestingly enough, Zelds isn't leading the lobby in terms of ultimate generation. I mean, they are, but only by 1%. Now lost it. Blaze, Donut, Outfox, all the rest of Everett are contributing to all of these picks. Greater Johnstown is going to end up going down here if the fight continues for much longer. I think that what we need to see from Johnstown is just for them to back out and regroup, but the revive is going to keep them in it.
Yeah, Game Genix going down early was not what you wanted. They've got that res, but it's not there for the longer fight. You'd like to keep it for later, especially losing Cooper there early on in that fight. Now they're looking to turn it around. They've got Cherry Boom looking for this fight, but Outfox has found Zeke, and now things continue to go in the favor of Everett.
Yeah, and on top of that, Everett's going to have a command over several ultimates in these impending fights. The first of which actually get unleashed upon the hapless Game Genesis, who ends up going down. That's Molten Core out of the fight, but you still have Annihilation, Kitsune Rush, you're coming up on a Dragons, and you have the Valkyrie on top of that. Johnstown, they've got a couple of ultimates as well, but they've expended the revive, so even if they are at greater strength, are they going to be able to make this fight really favorable for them? I guess there's only one way to find out here, Joker.
There is only one way to find out, but things are going to start off with Yuya popping this Valkyrie early on, and there's the Annihilation coming out from Outfox, getting a lot of damage done, but no picks coming in off the back of it. But that might not be what they need. They making that space and buying them more time, but the Terrasur just come through and found Yuya out of this fight. The Coalescence coming through as well. His Dragon Strike has to be huge, but it does not seem to be the case as Cooper finding the picks for Johnstown now to come back at the 11th hour to try to get this point back in their favor.
Good stuff from Cooper there on the Junkrat. They're going to be rewarded for their participation in that fight with a Rip Tire, which is going to be very exciting. That's a free win condition here heading into the next fight, which is going to give River Galaxy plenty of time to proc up that Tactical Visor, which they're going to need to help as the Everett Warriors disperse over a Kitsune Rush here, the only ultimate that they have remaining. But every fight now is last fight here for Everett.
Yeah, they're going to come into this fight with the Kitsune Rush from Voltage to open things up. Now the pummel getting up and personal into Johnstown here, but River Galaxy with that tactical visor might be able to change some tide, but no, they're going to go down early on, and now everything's looking good for Everett Warriors. They've got the res of Blaze Donut back into this fight, and it's all but over. Cherry Bloom goes down, the overtime bar ticks away. Round 1 goes to Everett.
And not in overly decisive fashion either. Greater Johnstown was able to muster 36% of objective completion there. So heading into the next round or two, what we might be able to see from Johnstown is that they come back from that Sanctuary loss and take Mecha Base, so that we can see what downtown holds for us. At least for now, Everett Warriors are running their composition extremely well. I'm particularly enjoying Outfoxed Ramatra gameplay. It's just really intentional. You can see why Outfox might deploy a shield at a time or go out swinging in Nemesis form at a certain moment. Now, that's not to say that the rest of the Everett Warriors aren't playing really well. That Kitsune Rush from Voltage was extremely impactful in that last fight on Sanctuary. So here for Johnstown, Outfox is definitely someone to focus, and honestly, Johnstown has the right idea. Cherry Bloom on Orisa is a great response to the Ramatra.
Yeah, definitely have to agree, as they're going to go into this fight looking, vying, juking, and jiving around, as GameGenix is already down low, looking to get that early capture on, but it's going to leave them without that extra bit of healing, and that might bode them poorly in the end, as now they're just going to rotate the point, try to take things away, and Zelda's going to be the one to take Cooper out of this fight early on. GameGenix is going to be able to find that pick, but it still does not look to be enough for the side of Johnstown at the moment. But they still could find this pick as Trojan 4 does go down, but still, Johnstown is finding these picks now. And with Outfox going down, then the respawn's coming a little bit too late. Johnstown are able to take this first point.
Yeah, really good, really interesting stuff actually from Johnstown, because what you ended up having after the first stages of that first fight was GameGenix actually dropped onto the point and forced the objective, which prompted a few of the Warriors to drop down as well. Now they're kind of stuck in this proverbial barrel, breaking out of it with Annihilation, but Outfox is taking a lot of damage in the process.
As that Annihilation has come through, ticking damage away, GameGenix finally going down, as that's a lot of damage coming in onto this front line of Johnstown, but it's Blaze Donut's turret finding the 2 picks in response, and Everett gets the point in their favor.
I mean, it was gutsy for sure, that Annihilation coming from that position. You don't typically see fights forced from the stairs leading up to the objective, but it paid off. Interesting to see now here, ooh, Johnstown take a similarly style fight. The difference is that they don't have the Annihilation to help them push through, and they're pushing through a Molten Core, which Cherry Bloom quickly succumbs to, even despite the revive in the backlines cast by Zeke to bring Johnstown up to full strength, which they are no longer at, especially now that the Dragons have swept the remaining 3 Trojans. They're looking at a reset that they need to make here, but they have ults in preparation for the next fight. Down Pulse Bomb, though, River Galaxy unable to find the stick.
Yeah, it's very difficult to take those fights, especially with the DPS that Everett are running. That's so control-based, such control-based ultimates, and it worked out in Everett's favor there. Yeah,
and so they get 51% of progress here. Johnstown should actually be able to break this objective progress in this fight with the Riptire.
They should indeed, but will they is the question, because Outfox has already found one with the pummel, and the rest of Everett are able to capitalize on the space created by Outfox to be able to get into the space now and take away the rest of Johnstown, and they win that fight. It's up to 75% now.
And that's coming into last fight territory here for Greater Johnstown, and they're in a position that is not so different than they were there on Sanctuary. So the question is, you know, how do they take back this point? How have they been taking back this point, and then emulate those strategies? At least here, the Terra Surge and the Tire could combo to make a really devastating push.
Yeah, they're pushing in. Outfox is going to go
5 seconds.
down,
Oh,
and
that's a huge
Cooper finds 3 with the tire. That's going to get the point back into the favor of Johnstown. Maybe not. They're going to pop the Annihilation, and they found 3. There's no way they turn this. There's just no way, Ethan. There's just 2 people left at the point. The Annihilation's still going around. Cherry Bloom's going to take them down, but the respawns are going to be coming back soon. They might not be able to hold on to this point for much longer as the Kitsune Rush comes through from Voltage, as they're not going to be able to stay on the point. They're so low, and Game Genix is back, but they've been dealt with the kunai from Voltage, the sticky coming in from the Cassidy there. They're able to hold on, but for how much longer? Because Zelds is back from spawn with the Hanzo, finding a pick after pick now for Everett, and that is going to be it. The respawns are coming back now, but it's not looking like it's going to be kind for Johnstown as the overtime bar comes through, ticks away, and Everett take map number 1.
Everett walks away with a dub on Busan. You are absolutely right, Joker. You know, there's nothing quite like makes your heart sink than seeing you lose your Moira and then the enemy Mercy pops Valkyrie, which is kind of the narrative that formed in that last fight from the Greater Johnstown Trojans. Cherry Bloom actually played that really well. You know, get the kill on Outfox, who did pop off with the Annihilation, and really made that fight winnable for Everett when they were able to come back. But Cherry Bloom, you know, deal with or kill the Ramatra and then move on off the point, since you don't have heals to try and either get health packs or connect to them sooner. You know, that was really well played, and just ultimately ended up kind of being unlucky that Greater Johnstown wasn't able to coalesce for that last fight. But we're heading on to downtown, and here's where things start to change. Cherry Bloom on the Roadhog is particularly interesting to me.
As well as River Galaxy opting to go over to the Genji now, and it could work out in their favor, but it's not working out to start, as Outfoxed on this Ramatra, continuing to put on a clinic in this hero, as they found 3 in this fight. The Cherry Bloom, not to be outdone, have found 2 of their own, but there's the healing's not there as Everett take the first point.
Yep, they're going to be able to start building capture progress here, and as well push this choke and see, you know, what ultimate charge they can accrue in preparation for the next fight. Speaking of, Outfox is already 76% to Annihilation. Now Annihilation already builds incredibly quickly, but it does give you an idea of Outfox level participation in these fights.
Yeah, as River Galaxy is in the back, though. Yu-Gi-Oh's out of this fight, which is huge. That pocket is no longer there, but it might not even matter. No, it does, in fact. But hey, Blaze Donut is gonna try to pick up the slack, because Outfox is gone now. Finding 1 and then looking for more with that Molten Core. Not gonna find anything. The Kite is gonna be there from Johnstown, but they don't even need it. They're gonna be able to just find all the picks they need with the Rivet Gun.
That's right. Good use of the Molten Core. It was some good spam damage as well that had come out from Blaze Donut, which resulted in River Galaxy's early elimination. It's one of those things where River is just standing in the middle of the Greater Johnstown Trojans and then all of a sudden gets picked off. Just the only call you can make is unlucky. There's still time for Johnstown to kind of play slow and see how they want to engage in this, because I don't think that a head-on brawl is going to work for them, but that might just be what they try here.
Yeah, this could be it. It could be indeed, but they're going to come into this fight now, looking to get things underway with the Dragon Blade coming in from River Galaxy. 1, 2, 3, count them all, as Johnstown are going to try to turn it around, but this Annihilation still finding good value from Outfox is going to be able to find 1, maybe some more, as there goes Cherry Bloom super low, but the healing is going to be there. Maybe not, though, as Trojan 4 is down. Zeke is going to go down. Cooper follows it up to get that revenge, but it's up to 95% for Everett here.
That was an absolutely nutty stall from Everett as well, and Outfox had a really good idea of how to make sure Greater Johnstown stays at a disadvantage, focusing out the Mercy. But right now, Greater Johnstown is winning the fight. So for Everett, they just need to reset and look for another chance to take this this engagement, which I don't think is here and now. Yeah, no, Yui goes down. Without Yui, you don't have an option to push.
Yeah, you've got to get out here if you are Everett. Outfox. Yeah, okay, GameGenix did bop that sound barrier. But Blazedown is swapped over to the Symmetra here now. They're gonna pop and go into this fight. Outfox is taking Zeke out of this fight already, and now they're gonna look to pop in and go through. Not gonna go over the side of this map.
Almost,
Still,
so close.
The Kitsune Rush not even being used. They don't even need it right now as Blazedown is found two. There's the Riptire coming out. We're gonna take them down. But still, the point is flipped over into the favor of Everett with the res coming through. The Annihilation is there as well. The Kitsune Rush coming in response to try to end things here and now. And it seems to be the case. River Galaxy looking to find some picks off the back with this Dragon Blade, but they can only find one. It's not looking to be enough. Outfox still on this point, finding damage and not really allowing River Galaxy to do what they want to as the overtime bar ticks away and Everett takes map number 1.
Everett as well, or you know, really kind of as an extension of Everett, Outfoxed in the team as a whole, again, had a really good notion on how they wanted to dismantle the Greater Johnstown Trojans, and a big part of that was actually focusing out Zeke, Trojan 4, on the Mercy. And if you can get that Mercy out of the fight, then you and I have briefly alluded to the just outrageous healing potential that Mercy has now, because well, I won't get into it, but she's incredibly powerful, even after some changes to her movement, which was really the most powerful part of her kit previously. And so if you can get that Mercy, then you're looking at a relatively straightforward endeavor as far as solving the rest of the fight.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I think this is the first time we've really seen a real dominant tank player in the TEC high school series, Ethan. It's always been these dominant support or DPS players, and then obviously when it was Forest Hills, when Flip Stingray and Vaca would just go to other whole characters, they dominate as well, but they were always DPS players, and it's really cool to see Outfoxed here, who seems to be that dominant tank player that we've been missing and that we can get behind here as a tank player myself. I'm really excited to see that. They were so good on this first map. I'm excited to see what they can bring on this next map of Havana.
Yeah, whether it was an incredible amount of practice or the stars aligned for the performance on Busan that Outfox was able to conjure on the Ramatra, it must only get better from here. For honestly both teams. Greater Johnstown was able to navigate closer and closer to the solution that Outfox really posed to them, but they didn't quite nail it there on Busan. Havana represents another chance for them to do that same thing, but with success this time around on this map. Again, I think part of their win condition, though, Greater Johnstown, has to be something similar to Everett's. Everett's wants the supports out of the fight. And when Overwatch 1 launched, you know, that was the name of the game. Kill the supports first, because healing uptime is and always has been and always will be a problem in Overwatch. If there are healers on the field, nothing will die. And so if Greater Johnstown can assume their own version of that strategy, then I think that Everett find themselves having a little bit harder of a time. I don't think that Outfox actually walks out on Junker Queen on this map. Maybe they do, but and I wouldn't complain about it. But I definitely was anticipating the Ramatra.
I was, in fact, pogging IRL when I saw it. Outfox was on the Junkrat right there. Or not Junkrat, Junker Queen, sorry. But I'm excited to see. I love Junker Queen, especially maybe with this, with Cherry Bloom on the Roadhog. They might have just done the predictive the century. Maybe. You know, there's no Ana on the side of Everett, so Cherry Bloom's going to be mostly free, but man oh man, is Cherry Bloom going to make for a great target to keep wound uptime percentage here and let Outfox just live for way longer than Greater Johnstown really wants them to. And not only that, when you get into the rampage, it'll just delete Cherry Bloom as they're just getting in the face of Greater Johnstown, and Outfox finding Zeke early on in this fight. Now they're forcing them away, trying to stay alive as River Galaxy, but that's not going to happen as Outfox is taking them down, as they're going to still try, as they will, to just take Outfox out of this fight, but it's just not in the cards right now for the side of Greater Johnstown, as Outfox keeps finding pick after pick for this Everett squad.
And that's going to be some pretty good objective progress here as well for Everett. Johnstown still has an opportunity to contest here, but it's very slight. If they lose anyone here, then their next fight to hold first point becomes very harrowing. Everett as well setting themselves up for potential to be punished for how far they extend, but at least Zelds might walk away with an opening pick here.
Yeah, Zelds is looking for a
pick
in the back. It's not gonna happen though, as Cherry Bloom finds that pick on the Outfox, and that Bob as well. They're gonna try to invest the Molten Core to try to turn the tide of this fight, but it does not work in their favor as Everett have to reset and go back to spawn.
That's right, and they only sacrificed the Molten Core there. Blaze Donut wanted to see if they could swing the fight with it, and you can't blame them for that. They have 4 other ultimates, so you can't cry over a little bit of spilled Molten Core, as they say. Johnstown as well played that really, really crucially. River Galaxy is able to only commit the Bob there as well. Outfox is already on the back foot. That's a good rampage, but the beat is there.
Yeah, the beat is there indeed, so we're going to be really any follow-up from that rampage, but that Ant Matrix is now there as well. It's going to be a lot more damage coming out from Everett. The Whole Hog trying to keep them back. At the moment, it's not looking good. There's so many people low on the side of Everett, but Voltage is going to be the one to earn the first pick in this fight. They only find the turret with that Riptire from Cooper, as now things continue to go in the favor of Everett as that commanding shout comes through, getting him in the face of Johnstown to wrap this fight up.
Yeah, but what did it cost? You know, everything. The Everett Warriors, the Blaze Donut with, oh man, they already have another Molten Core, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. But the rest of Everett had to use all of their other ultimates. Meanwhile, Johnstown is able to save the Valkyrie, which is incredibly important. So, Game Genix going down, a little unlucky, but if you want a Valk here, you can possibly bring them back and bring Johnstown up to full strength.
Yeah, especially losing Blaze Donut there. That's a perfect opportunity to get things going into your favor now. So like you said, that Molten Core is now online, but they're still pushing this. The commanding shout coming through, but River Galaxy on Ash is finding all the picks they need to flip the point, flip the defense, and get the point in their favor.
That's a nice hold there from Johnstown, and I almost wonder, I have to wonder if, you know, there's some really good target focus that's happening from them, or if, that's a nice Bob as well. I think it's going to get burned there, yeah, but it buys a little bit of space. So, you know, I wonder how strong the target focus is from Greater Johnstown, but the fact is that they dismantled Everett the way that they needed to there. Oh, that nice hook as well.
Oh, that's a nice hook indeed. They needed that nice spawn, or that nice hold from that Bob, because they lost 2 from that Molten Core. But in the end, nothing really matters when they come back to from spawn, and Zelds finds 3 with the Hanzo, and the team kill gong sounds.
That's right. Johnstown with a reset that they're going to have to muster here, but 2 minutes in the bank to stabilize and hold second point. 2 ults as well. Coming up on nearly 3, including the Riptire. It's Cooper's time for redemption. See if they can get something other than the turret this time. No opening pick here as a result of Cherry Bloom's hook, but they do have the Whole Hog into this.
The Whole Hog is going to be available as Ant Matrix and Valkyrie are on the board from both of the squads. There's the Whole Hog coming out, and it's working out well from Johnstown as Outfox does find a pick, but it's not going to matter in the end as they're the only one to go. A nice another Jagged Blades shot coming through, but Outfox goes down late. It's going to be a minute before they can really get this next fight underway.
Yeah, Alfox goes down really late, unfortunately, for Everett. That means a stagger. That means some time stalled, just waiting to be able to push as a team. And that's something that might be able to be disrupted here by Cooper with the Riptire. I might have actually even been compelled to Riptire early there just to disrupt the reset. Because now Everett have a full squad of 5 going into this last fight with a minute in the bank. So that's really not an advantage that you want to afford, Everett.
Ooh,
Especially
that's a huge, oh my goodness, that was a huge rampage coming in from Outfox there. And the response, though, wait, maybe this, the overclock is huge, maybe only find Zelds, but that could have buy them the time. No, it's not going to get them anyone back inside. No, it is.
Touch.
Game Genix is going to get there, and the sound barrier is going to be there as well to try to hold on for as long as they can. The respawns are coming back, but they're not able to deal with this turret. It's still not alive. There it goes, finally down. The respawns are fully back from all the squad, but it's going to be Cooper taking Voltage down, and that's huge. That healing no longer there. The res is true, and Outfox with the Jagged Blade found 2 picks in this fight. Outfox with the Junker Queen going wild as Everett are able to complete the second point.
It's kind of funny to see all of the players having kind of their own moments to shine, particularly here on Havana. Outfox got theirs on Busan, but it's Blaze Donut and Zelch just being absolutely insane with the amount of damage they're creating. And as well, Game Genix dropped a solo sound barrier, which conventionally isn't really worth it. But they not only stalled the point for long enough for the rest of Johnstown to come back, they're 70% to another sound barrier, which is crazy. Johnstown and Everett are both playing this really clean right now. Both teams deserve to hold and push all the way.
Another nice rampage coming in from Outfox there and getting that pick onto Cherry Bloom. The res is going to come through onto Voltage as well to keep them up in this fight. As Zelds not to be outdone by their tank counterpart of Outfox, but hey, maybe River Galaxy. Now they're going to only find 2, but still, that's going to be enough for Everett to have to wait for these respawns.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you though, Joker, those are 2 images from the kill feed I'll always expect now is Zelds to walk away with 2 or 3, and in River Galaxy, one that I've missed, to walk away with 2 or 3. Nice tire there from Cooper. He ends up going down though to Voltage.
Yeah, as the Dragon Strike comes through as well, that could have been huge. The res is gonna be it's not gonna be stuck at all, as the overtime bar is gonna tick away. It's just Voltage left, but still, this is a very good push from Everett here, as we have not seen this part of the map at all tonight.
No, we haven't. So I'm already extremely pleased with how Havana has gone so far between both of these teams. Greater Johnstown is absolutely killing it right now. I mean, some crazy stalls, some really nice stabilizations that they've managed to obtain, and it's you know, it's off the backs of all of them as well. It's Cooper with some really good damage, consistent damage. It's Zeke with consistent healing. Obviously, you get the clutch potential, the sound barrier, the stall from Game Genix, and as well, I think that Cherry Bloom has found a really nice spot on this Roadhog, who I briefly mentioned earlier is kind of a sleeper pick. Hog isn't the throw pick that he was at the start of Season 3. Definitely not the best tank in the game, which Outfox may very well be playing. Actually, no, who am I kidding? That's a Wrecking Ball. Is really good right now. But Ramantra's very close up there. Needless to say, Cherry Bloom is still going to be able to make stuff happen, even with Outfox's presence on our favorite Null Sector tank. Yeah,
and I mean, like, we saw them do so much, the wonders on that Junker Queen, and now they're on even stronger tank yet again on this Ramantra. We saw how well they were playing that on Busan. I'm excited to continue to see Outfox's gameplay here.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, you know, the relationship between Outfox and Voltage, I think, is going to be interesting. Baptiste isn't typically run with Ramantra, but he synergizes quite well with him at the same time. And with BAP buffs on this latest patch, then I'm happy to see a little bit of Haitian representation here from the Warriors.
The combat medic with coming in for Everett, as they've already found a 1 pick with the pummel. They're going to try to turn it around. They've got that nice pick coming through on from Cooper, but it's going to be rezzed up and dealt with afterwards as Cooper is back to spawn. So is Zeke, as this is gotta be a reset for the side of Johnstown as they swapped River Galaxy over to the Pharah now.
Yep, that's something I've missed as well. And even despite getting shut down there, I don't think that River Galaxy is compelled to switch just because Zelds can hit a shot on flying target. You've got the Mercy, you've got a way for not only Zeke to damage Amp and get a lot of damage boost out of it, but you've also got an escape option for Zeke, who's been constantly run down by Outfox. So this is a brilliant swap from the Trojans.
Zelda is so low, they haven't been hailed at all, but Outfox is in the back line, finding a pick already onto Game Genix. They're trying to stay alive. The barrage built up, finding 2. Both DPS are gone from Everett now, as things should go in the favor of Johnstown. They should just fall down and die and reset. They'll still have a chance, but no, they're still trying to push
with the
this.
res?
What are they doing? The res on what the annihilation as well. The sound barrier gonna come out. Oh my goodness. What that is take something from outside of Everett there. They're gonna use the Dragon Strike as well.
Okay, some decisions being made here, perhaps some sillier than others, including the stagger here that's about to be accomplished on a Blaze Donut, and Zelds being sent back to spawn as well. Outfox is making a rush for the point, and I'm really hoping that they actually just back off and live here, because that's what you want to see if you're an Everett Warriors fan. But no, Outfox pulls up the punches and starts letting a rip, but they're going to die out here.
Yeah, they are, and this is, they're just staggering one after another.
That's a nice hook there.
They could have gotten a nice team fight, but they just kept going in one after another, not really resetting and getting a fight underway. And that's just gonna let Johnstown get to the first point without really any contention.
I mean, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants, and sometimes you just have the need for feed. And I think that might be the moment that we get to see here from the Everett Warriors. But they're ready to bounce back from it and muster a really nice second point hold here. This is really where Ramatra versus Roadhog is going to start to get particularly advantageous here for Outfox. It's just a matter of making sure that they live. Pulled out of the MO and almost dispatched that. That was a little harrowing.
As Zelds finds that shot onto River Galaxy, but it's going to go down to Cooper in the end. And now they've got to reset here. They cannot keep taking these fights. The res is going to be there coming in from Yu-Gi-Oh to try to turn the tide of this fight. They've got Blaze Donut to the side. Can they find a pick here and now is the real question. And it's still not being answered. They've got the Annihilation available, the Ravenous Vortex coming out, but it's still nothing doing. The Hook not finding the pick, nothing finding. Yet there it goes. River Galaxy in the back, taking Blaze Donut out of this fight. And that should be Johnstown winning this fight out, but maybe not. The Annihilation and Dragon Strike being used are going to turn this the fight on its head for the side of Everett.
It's almost like you've got two fights going on here, or maybe even more than that. You've got River Galaxy looking to exploit off angles and flanks however they can against Everett, and then you've basically got Outfoxed and Yui versus the rest of Greater Johnstown. Right now, Everett is coming up on top of these matchups, but they're close, Joker. You can see it. You're calling how close these are, and already this fight's starting off with potentially an early pick for Johnstown. That's not looking to change.
Yeah, they've got 2 picks already, but it's going to be there. The 2 picks in response. The res is going to be huge, getting River Galaxy back in this fight, and are able to find more picks off the back of it. Outfox is trying as they will to turn the tide back in their favor. That's not the case as Johnstown continues to push forward.
That's right, and you saw Outfox go down there kind of late once again, but I mean, man, the strategy is it could not be more clear. Outfox rushes down Zeke, gets them out of the fight, and then the rest of the fight is winnable from there. So I'm really appreciating the commitment to the strategy here from Outfox. I do wish they would put their arms up a little bit more, protect themselves, because they end up going down here to the spam from Cooper.
Yeah, they had the chance to get there in the end, but that's not going to be the case. They are going to have to be held. They're going to have to hold him on to point number 3 here, Lordthethan, as Johnstown get that second point.
There's only 2 minutes remaining, and that's really not enough time if you're an attacker, and it is just barely enough if you're a defender. A key detail here for Everett is that they managed to push quite a ways into that third point, where really the most dangerous or the most difficult place to push is through that last chokehold, the portcullis of this bastion. So we'll see if Johnstown's able to do it. The fact is that they've got the tools to do so. A rip tire barrage, some seriously explosive potential here. They just got to use it at the right time and the right place. For Cooper, that might be now. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to pop that Riptide. They find Zells, and the barrage comes through, finding 2 of their own. The Annihilation is coming through, but it's not finding the picks that they would have liked to, as the bus or the car keeps going around. The Dragon Strike is there. It's going to buy them a little bit more time to try to reset and take this fight here.
GameGenix is going to be very close to that sound barrier as well, but Voltage with the amplification matrix might be able to start swinging the fight here and now. Blaze on that almost goes down. That's some pretty clutch healing right there, and a lot of damage through the window as well. Joker, this is winnable for both sides right now. There's only a minute remaining though. You want every ult you can get if you're either side.
Yeah, but you've got to deal with River Galaxy in the sky. They keep finding those angles to try to keep just taking away people from your backline, as they're still looking for this. They've got the barrage available as well. They need to find them now, and they need to find them out of this fight as the pummel comes through. They've got to find Zeke. They do get him, but Cherry Bloom finds the pick onto Yuyo. It's looking really good for Everett with the barrage coming through. There they go down. Johnstown ties up the series 1-1.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, Joker. We got the elusive map 3 for 1. We're going to get to go to Colosseo here momentarily. But I mean, for Everett to look as good as they did on Busan, because they looked really good for that entire map. For Johnstown to look even better here on Havana is absolutely awesome and super important as well. Joker, you and I have talked about these series that we've been watching, and honestly, they've been a little bit lower stakes just because of how. I guess really not as close those series have been. So you and I talk about how these early games in the TC High School series, these are important games to win. I think that this one might be one of the most important. This is an opportunity for Greater Johnstown or Everett, both very potentially equally competent teams, to establish an early lead over the other. And that's going to make the rematch series be even more intense, which I'm already looking forward to. But first we got to get through this last map. And Joker, we haven't often gotten to see Push here on TEC, or here on the Esports Company Twitch.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I do like Colosseo, and I think it really bodes
of course
itself.
You have this L take.
I like all the push maps. Unlike you. I like the push game mode. But I do like this for Everett a little bit more than I do for Greater Johnstown right now.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Their performance on Control Point illustrates that, a more team deathmatch kind of style of gameplay is very doable. In fact, probably a stronger strategy for them. Ramatra is still a really good pick here on Colosseo. It's going to be as good as anything you'll see from Cherry Bloom. So I agree. I think Colosseo ends up being just as close, but a little more favorable for Everett heading into this last map. Push is also very momentum based. And so, Everett, if they're able to get some early momentum, that's very meaningful for them. Greater Johnstown, if they were able to disrupt momentum and swing things back, then it becomes even more difficult for Everett to get themselves back into that map. So Push is going to be very interesting. We don't often get to see it tackled by these high school teams, and it's not really the easiest mode to navigate either. So, certainly we'll get to see plenty of mistakes here on Coliseo, but that just means plenty of opportunities to get something done right and to clutch up for either of these teams to punish on some of the mistakes that we might see being made here, and that's going to be pretty entertaining.
I was talking with Moving Fish, one of our lands. If you don't know Moving Fish, they're a Contenders player. One of the lands I did this earlier this year, and they said Push is usually determined, I believe, in the first 2 or 5 minutes. I forget which number they said, but that stuck with me because it's usually true. And and I'm excited to see who gets the upper hand to start things off. And, well, it seems to be Johnstown at the moment, with River Galaxy sticking with this Farah.
So tragic to lose Zeke there, though, and that really makes this fight a little bit more even for Everett. So as it progresses, it's going to be more and more important for Johnstown to maintain a man advantage, which they won't be able to do. So at the very least, all you can do is get a little progress here on the bot. Ooh, Cooper makes something happen, though.
Yeah, Cooper making things happen, but Outfox is still on there with the rest of their squad, and the res onto Zelds is going to be enough to get the bot back into the favor of Everett.
Yeah, and the robot did not cross a lot of distance there for Johnstown's push either, but Johnstown managed to die early enough in the fight that they actually get another comp here as point begins to push past where they did. So Johnstown, the fate of this push map hasn't quite been decided yet.
Yeah, as they're gonna come into this now, River Galaxy again, finding the first pick in the fight for Johnstown on this Farah. They might have to swap off this DPS line, to be completely honest. They have to do something about River Galaxy in the sky as Johnstown continue to get Johnstown continue to dismantle Everett with this Farah.
And River Galaxy has the Barrage coming to the next fight as well, and we've seen that River Galaxy has actually gotten a lot of value on their Barrages as well. Everett hasn't been prepared for the use of that ultimate, and they aren't running a hit scan at the moment, so like you mentioned, you might be looking at a potential compositional swap, but honestly, enough pressure damage onto either the Farah or the Mercy is enough to get them out of there, and at least for now, River Galaxy has to receive.
Yeah, and then as the Ravenous Vortex is going to lock them up as well. Not going to be able to get into the sky for long, but the sound barrier is there in response to try to keep them up and healthy as the barrage comes through in the end. Continuing to hold on for just off the back of it as Cooper finds too late.
The dragons ended up being cast there as well, which is a little unfortunate. So down ultimates here, committed the annihilation, and Everett as well is about to forfeit the checkpoint here. Oh no, they're able to touch just in time.
Ooh, they are indeed able to touch, and it's working out now well for Everett off the back of Outfox's Fox pummels, and they're able to get the bot back into their favor before the butt scratch starts happening for the bot.
Oh, I almost called it the butt scratch earlier, but I actually restrained myself. So now that you said it, Joker, the floodgates have opened.
Hey, Chef Billy said it on broadcast, so I could say it on broadcast.
All of my friends get so confused whenever I call it the butt scratch in our games. They're like, "What is the butt scratch?" Maybe we'll get a chance to see it.
I've just realized it. We'll talk about what the butt scratch is if we get to see it, but we might see it now with River Galaxy finding 3 picks already in this fight for Johnstown here.
Yeah, which means Johnstown is going to get to move the bot. They want to clean up the fight in their backlines first, which they're very disciplined to do. Although Outfox still somehow, a massive hulking tank somehow manages to sneak by and walk away with a pick onto Cooper, which is a little unlucky there for the resident Junkrat player. Johnstown is back on the bot there. They're going to get this moving, and they might be able to push it even a little bit further, but they're going to be stymied here by the Photon Barrier.
Well, it's River Galaxy yet again coming in with a nice pick. It is going to be rezzed up immediately afterwards, but it's still not seeming to be enough. But now that's a lot of damage going to be coming out. The Kitsune rush the Annihilation as well, but they're pushed away. That whole hog was huge, and Zeld's onto the Pharah, taking their own elimination as Johnstown continue to push forward, and there's
the butt scratch.
There it is.
There we go. See, if you look at the bot here, he'll kind of like lean around the barricade and he'll scratch his butt. That's what we call it, the butt scratch. So, anyways, that indicates that the checkpoint has been reached and the forward spawn has been unlocked for Greater Johnstown, which means as they lose people, they're gonna have a little bit shorter of a trek back into these fights, which is incredibly important.
As the barrage comes through early on to take Voltage out of this fight. They can't res everyone. They decide to res Zeld, but it might not even matter who's resed in the end because, well, Johnstown continue to find picks in this fight no matter who it is, as Yuyo's now down. Outfox joins them shortly afterwards into spawn as Johnstown continue to push forward here.
And they've still got ultimates that they're holding on to as well. Game Genix has a really good win condition against Outfox Annihilation, though they're not going to need the beat for just a little bit longer. River Galaxy beamed down by Blaze Donut, which I like the Echo pick here as a response to the Pharah.
Yeah, they're looking to do something here. The Rip Tires coming in. The Annihilation does not go down, but two of Everett follow suit with that Rip Tire. They're still trying to find the value. The res is going to come through onto Voltage, but again, they've already lost so many, the res might not even matter, as they're going to continue to push forward. The bot is so close to the end. Voltage trying to stall for time, trying to get people back, but it's not looking like it's going to work as River Galaxy finds two. The bot continues to just push forward. I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch Johnstown. Take the map and the series in a 2-1 fashion.
Yeah, and the closest and arguably most meaningful series of the day, Johnstown emerges victorious, but not before being put through a little bit of a ringer by Everett there. So I want to commend both teams. For Johnstown, the presence of mind to swap onto the Pharah after recognizing that it was unlikely Everett would run a hit scan against it, and as well, I think that I don't think that I'm wrong in saying River Galaxy, Pharah has been a comfort pick for them in the past, and so I've been excited I am excited to see the Pharah reemerge from them. But as well, honestly, Greater Everett, Everett made Greater Johnstown really work for that victory. And I think that's something that should absolutely be noted. It means that for, again, the rematch series, it means that things are even more close, more harrowing for both teams, and have to be played with a lot more cleanliness. No, the next series is going to be super exciting.
Yeah, speaking of cleanliness, I think that's really what got away from Everett there. They need to clean up the ult usage, and I think that's what in the end lost them this series, because they had those opportunities to win things. But then when the fight got 1v5, 2v5, they're popping two ultimates, and that's not going to win you things. They might win you one or two fights, but in the long run, it's not going to win you the series, and that's what showed out in the end. Greater Johnstown were more decisive with their ultimates in the end.
as well as with their picks. I think that the Roadhog and Forest Witches were really good. Again, not only so that they had some individual agency, but as well, Zeke was able to live a little bit more frequently, having other people to tether to than just one group of people all kind of deathballing it out there. So Joker, this was an extremely interesting series, a very fun one, but unfortunately, it's the last one that we have for today.
It is unfortunate, but hey, guess what? You come back next week, 3:30 p.m. EST. You'll be here. We'll be here most likely. So make sure to follow. Get your notifications on when the esports company goes live, because they also do Rocket League and Valorant on Monday and Tuesday and Monday respectively. And make sure to follow us. Thanks. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter ats are on the screen right now. It's Lordthethan Jokersrandsome. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. It's been a wonderful week. Thank you all for watching. Peace out, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.